Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to iRacing. Today we are kicking off something new, and it's going to be something that is going to be a long process here in iRacing. I am doing the Daytona prototype, or the Corvette Daytona prototype, at Spa today. This is in preparation to do the Daytona 24-hour race in January. It'll be with Gem Knight and some other familiar faces. It'll be my first time ever running an endurance race. It's my first time ever driving a prototype race car. It's very different than anything else I've driven in iRacing, especially in a while. A lot of learning to do. And because, I don't know, I've always wanted to do this, but I never felt like I had the chops to do it. I needed something to help inspire me to keep at it and to keep, training towards running that race. So from now until and running through the Daytona 24-hour event, we are going to be doing a charity challenge once again, which is something I started doing in iRacing early on, back when I was first getting into doing videos for YouTube and starting to do Let's Play content in iRacing. Alright, actually going to switch over to post-commentary at this point, at least for the first little bit of the race, to try to explain what it is I'm going to be doing, and the new charity incentives and all that kind of stuff. As in starting this race and trying to explain this stuff, basically all I did was fumble over my words for 8 minutes, trying to hold on to this car that is, it's certainly not easy to drive, as I believe Gem Knight will explain to us now.
Well, that was a start.
It was weird, yeah.
He almost killed me.
But yeah, this kind of car combination, this kind of racing is something I'm going to have to dedicate a lot of time to feel comfortable with. And to do with that, the initiative that I'm going to be doing towards a charity challenge this time, instead of punishing myself to donate to a charity, at that point it was Child's Play charity, back when I first started doing the iRacing stuff, I am going to be rewarding myself and rewarding charity for the things that I do right. It just feels like a more positive take on it, and I think it will help keep me even more inspired than ever to keep trying to improve. Back when I first started the charity challenge stuff, it was because I had come to a point in iRacing where I didn't feel like I was advancing any further, I didn't feel like I was getting any better, and I became uninspired to keep trying, to keep at it, to keep practicing and keep doing races. So to have a secondary goal, to raise money for Child's Play, to have the ability to set small goals, even if it's only, get less than this many incidents in a race, or pass a car in a race, or don't get passed by any cars in a race, do a fast lap within a second of the leader. Little goals like that, that when there's, nothing behind it, it doesn't inspire me enough. There's no, tangible thing to it, so it's just like, oh yay, I only got 10x this race, that's fantastic. It doesn't feel like anything, and that doesn't motivate me. So this time around, I'm going to be trying to raise money and personally donating money towards Anxiety Gaming. That is a charity that I have chosen because of their mental health outreach. They're trying to break down the social barrier towards kids and young adults and people of all ages and gamers of all ages towards getting the mental health they need, and as well as financially aiding those who couldn't afford such things. So it's a cause that's very near to me. That's something that I would love to explain more about in the future, but this is probably not the time. The thing that I'm going to focus on for this first week, and probably for the first good bit here, is going to be on doing clean races. The way that iRacing works is you get 17 incident points per race, or you get disqualified. I'm going to take the 17 points, the 17 X's you can get per race, and turn that into $17. Every incident point that I rack up through the race takes away $1. So the better I do, the more money will be going to Anxiety Gaming. And I think I like that system a little bit better. It just feels I don't know, it feels a little bit more positive. It's going to be a long process. This is the hardest I have pushed myself in iRacing in years. I have been sticking to cars I generally feel comfortable with for the reason of making good, commentated iRacing races. This will probably be a little bit of a turn from that, as these cars and this level of racing is at a level that I don't feel as comfortable doing commentary during it. I just simply can't focus on both things at once. So although I will still certainly have the mic on and I will certainly still be talking, there will be probably a lot less of the, like, let's play style, you know, play-by-play style commentary that I've learned to really love doing with iRacing. In order to meet this other goal of running the Daytona 24-hour in January, I need to make that less of the focus. I don't think it's going to be the case that I could try to do both and still stay pleased with it, still stay, you know, inspired to keep doing this. So we'll see how it goes. It's probably something that will be ever-changing through the upcoming weeks and months. I may even do some of this on the live stream Twitch platform, splitting it with the YouTube platform. This is actually the last week of this IMSA season, so we're going to move into a new season of iRacing. I would like to do 4 races before Daytona, partly so that I can finally move up to the A license ranking, because it just seems like it's time to finally do that. And obviously we're going to need more time in the car anyway. So, like I said, it'll be different than what we've been doing in the past, but hopefully familiar enough that it's still interesting. I hope you guys are interested in tagging along through this journey. And at this point, we will cut back into the live commentary from the race, as I think by this point I had stopped trying to explain this while driving. Oof. Still though, this is easily the least comfortable car I've ever driven in iRacing. And it's really confusing to me because all of my peers seem to not necessarily agree with that, and that especially at Daytona, this car is generally rather easy to drive. For whatever reason, I'm having a very hard time clicking with it. 12, that's way slower than I've been running. Hit our marks here. The key factor for me so far, as I've been trying to learn it, is I'm having a very tough time positioning the car. I'm having a very tough time deciphering where the car exists in the world, partly due to the fact you sit on the right-hand side of it, and proportionally it's very different than the open-wheel cars I've mostly been running, and even like the smaller GT cars. These cars are very long, for one. Very long. They're a little bit wider, but not terribly much so. Especially here at night, I just really kind of struggle to figure out where the car ends and where the world begins. So I've been working with it, and the only way I'm going to learn that stuff is if I keep driving it. Because I'm not going to do a stint in a 24-hour race if I feel like I'm going to be the car that holds back the team, or at worst crashes the car. So that's why I have to feel confident in my ability to drive the car. That's why I need to do more laps.
You're gonna want to put 8 gallons in.
Okay. See if I can get to that menu. Like I said, we will be pitting, so there's another thing we can practice on here. For these 45-minute IMSA races, they reduce the amount of fuel that is in the car so that everybody has to pit. kind of falling behind from Richard here. I'm starting to pick up the times a little bit. I was hoping to really be in the 10s though. See if we can get there. I think a big reason I never ran these kind of super fast cars, the top tier cars in any of the series that I've done, is that it's exponentially harder to talk and drive. Things just happen in such a hurry that you absolutely have to be 100% focused on hitting marks, and it doesn't leave a lot of extra brain power for talking. So I'll have to try and manage that. I don't know that all of the stuff that I will be doing in preparation for the race will be YouTube videos. It might be stream stuff too, where it's a bit more excusable, I guess, that I could just be doing laps and maybe not doing so much talking. But today it's all just about getting seat time, really. You do enough laps with a car, even if it's not at the track you're going to be running. You just, every time a car makes a move, every time you hit a curve weird, every time it slides out. Oh, there goes one. I was doing pretty well. But yeah, every time something like that happens, you gain a little nugget of experience. You gain a little bit of knowledge about how the car reacts in a certain situation. And eventually that stuff starts to feel natural. Eventually. This car does have traction control. It's kind of an awkward traction control in that it's very chunky, I guess is the best way I could describe it. Much like the way it shifts, rather rough. Like, the shifts seem very violent. The traction control is very violent, and it really takes huge stabs of throttle away from it. So it's like the car bucks real violently when you get up on it, and it almost kind of upsets the car a bit. So I'm doing whatever I can to actually stay off of that. I'm having a lot of issues in the race here with it. Wanting to slide the rear on the entry of the turns, which is different than what I had in practice, which means I must be doing something slightly different here. Struggle with that turn. Keeping pace over the WEC cars, or sorry, the GTE cars behind me, which is good. I didn't want to be a problem for the leaders of that pack, because their times are dramatically close to our times, since these DPs are represented of a car much older than the GTE cars. They're a little bit on the slow side, much slower than the modern LMP2 cars. I considered running one of the GTE cars or a GT3 car. However, those fields tend to be more competitive. They tend to be a little crazier. So you might have a lot more contact, much more likely to probably get taken out by somebody. So it was recommended that I run these. Decently happy with this pace. A little bit of lock up in one there. Really looking at the 3 car, that's the main thing I'm looking at, is I don't want them to close. Hanging with the 15. Feel like I have the potential to get up there and maybe take the fight to him later in the race. Because to me, these are as much races as they are practice sessions to me. They're as much practice sessions as they are races. Something like that. So every lap I turn is a lap that I'm getting more familiar with the car. Felt particularly displeased with the car and my performance at Daytona. Which is interesting because Daytona is usually a track I feel pretty good about. But I think it's just been a long time since I've gotten into a car that I wasn't able to pick up on in a decent amount of time. Even the Indy car, getting into that sight unseen, never driving it before, I felt more instantly familiar with it than I did with this. Like I said, probably due to the differences with it compared to everything else we've run recently. This has about as much to do with a Skip Barber car as I have to do with a successful YouTuber. Not very much. That was a 210. Happier with that. That's the times I would like to run. Oh, yep. God, I hate the off-track zones here. They said they improved it. It still really sucks, though. Way, way too obnoxious. One of the things I was worried about for this race was actually Xing out of it, meaning that if you get over 17X, you get disqualified from the race. And we'd be given no money to charity. And that would suck. Oh, there's 3. For reference, we'll be running around 21 laps for this race. Good to know. I was gonna put around lap 12 anyway. It's been offline there. I had a lot of marbles. Or somebody was off track and kicked up stuff on the track. Yeah, because it got real skatey there. It's certainly a momentum car, even though it's rather high powered. Kind of reminds me a little bit, completely different universe here. It reminds me a bit of the Haas car in F1 2016, where it really gets uncomfortable changing directions real fast. And if you get it a little squirrely, if you get a little offline, there's like no give in it. There's not a lot of chance that you're gonna recover and get it back. And a lot of endurance racing is this. You're out on the track, there's nobody around you, you just have to lap yourself, you have to keep your own pace. And even that is a skill that I don't particularly use a lot. Most of the racing I do is sprint racing, and you're racing really
those last
close.
2 DPs are gonna cause problems. One of them just stopped on the track to let me by.
Oh, jeez.
By stopped, I mean stopped. The other one lost it at a turn 5, I think. I don't know the actual name.
Great. What's your X count at?
I think 2.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah. Also, I think the pit window's open.
Yeah, I was gonna go on 12, just try and kind of split it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get out into traffic with GTE cars. I don't know when they pit.
That was terrifying. Going into the bus stop, there are headlights facing me.
Yeah, I've noticed that a couple times. Oh, there's that track control. Hitting real hard. Got ourselves some lap traffic here. That's another thing we've got to learn. There's our DP car going nowhere. Yep, still doing about 8 miles an hour, that DP is.
Well,
so yeah, for viewers coming in, maybe not knowing what to expect with this, it's certainly very different than what I've done previously for YouTube on iRacing, as it's not so much about action all the time, that's for sure. Not that I think iRacing or road racing in general is ever that way. It's even less that way now.
make that 3 X's.
Especially with Gem Knight here, who has really excelled in the world of iRacing since he's kind of moved on from the Assetto Corsa stuff. What you gonna do here, guy?
On your left. Clear on the left.
That was a bit rude. I live though. GT3 cars should be pretty nonsensical for us to pass. But yeah, ever since Gem Knight kind of switched over to running mostly iRacing here, he has really, really excelled. His skills, I would say, far surpass mine at the moment. So I am very focused on trying to get back to that level. What you doing there, guy?
Go right.
Kind of missed the turn there.
All clear, all clear.
Just a wee bit. Well, that's good. We worked our way through that traffic and we didn't really lose time to the 15.
11.769.
That is good news. And I would say some of that with Jem's performance. Obviously, some of it is just how much more dedicated to iRacing he is than me. Spends a lot more time in it. Even if you're not running the same series, I think just being familiar with the way iRacing's physics work is an advantage. Because there's a very particular way that cars handle in this sim versus others. It takes a certain mindset. The edge of grip and overall in iRacing to me is just so much sharper than anything else that I drive in. And that's kind of what takes a little bit of readapting whenever I come back to it. The level of competition is so much higher.
Stupid GT3!
You scared the shit out of me. That literally scared the shit out of me. New pants! Is Gem dead?
Hi.
Hi. You dead?
No, I didn't touch anything.
No?
All clear, all clear.
I tried to pass on that turn, and the GT3 went, nah, I'm gonna squeeze you right into the grass.
Yeah, they do that. Well, I'm gonna pit this lap.
Yeah.
Well. Never actually did this.
The leader is hitting now.
So yeah, I never actually did that in practice. Hope I have everything set right.
You're in third place.
I'm not sure if you'll pass through him or not.
Come on, guy! Okay, we're in. I would really like to let Jim go first here if possible. And
Had a
he
great
did.
race going, and GT3 went.
You got out first anyway.
You got one on your left.
This is what I didn't want.
All clear, all clear.
Yep.
Car on your left. All clear, all
Dead.
clear. All clear.
Slammed
all
into the
clear.
back of me going up Radion. Flash my lights at him. Endurance racing!
We've got a slow car on the left. Go right. Go left. We have a car stopped on the right.
Alright, well, with the incident, that was pretty much the end of our race. I don't know what kind of damage we really had there, but it just was nearly impossible to hang on to the car for the rest of the race. I think we ended up with 13x, so not a lot of money going to the charity this week. But it's not as though I didn't learn anything. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, basically just ran me over. I mean, I know I was slow, but I was just coming off pit road. Tires were cold, it wasn't gonna hold right. There was just no reason, I don't think, to do that, and that's actually way more damage than I thought I had. So that that explains how ridiculously hard it was to hold on to the car for the rest of the race. I guess I'll just take my lumps there and learn for the next time I try another race here in the Daytona prototype, as we practice and learn for the Rolex 24. Here is the end of the race results. We finished in 4th place in class out of 6. As I said, we racked up a ton of incidents there, up to 14, 4 of which were due to the contact there. An additional 4 were from spins after the contact, trying to get back around. And that pretty much ended our race. Not maybe the result I wanted, but what I am happy with is the fact that our 2-minute 10.9 second lap, not terribly far off the times that we're running up at the front of the pack. Gem Knight put in a 2:08.7. One of our future goals will be getting close to Gem Knight's times, of course. That goal, not where we're at just yet. We got a long ways to go, but for this week, there will be only $3 going to Anxiety Gaming, but it's going to a good cause. And I'm sure $3 will help, and hopefully as we move forward, even more help will be springing up from this, and hopefully you guys can join in that as well. But over here on the fundraiser page, the campaign page, you'll see $3 raised so far, and hopefully that's just the beginning. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're excited for the future of this new challenge we are embarking.